Hi, I'm Bob Kraus, and I'm president of the Veterans National Recovery Center. And I'm here with Christina Thunderthil. This video concerns the gang rape that was perpetrated on her when she was in Kuwait. It was while she was in a compound that was controlled by Captain Joni Ernst at the time. She was, after the rape occurred, the tables were turned, and when she went and pled rape, the charge against her was that she falsely said she was raped and that it was consensual sex. But we have evidence to indicate that this was a frame-up on Christina Thunderthil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you two medical pictures of bruises and abrasions that were part of the medical report. This is the first one. Can you see that, Vicki? Does that show up well? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now what that is those would be the dark bands on there are compression bruises that one would get if one held their hand firmly on somebody to hold their arms down while they were being raped, and that blends with Christina's story that there were two people involved in the rape. They took turns. They would hold her arms back so she could be raped, and then they changed places. But they held her arms down so vigorously that they made those compression bruises, the dark there. And then we also have another video, and if you can see this one, can you see that one, Vicki? Mm-hmm. Does that show up? Okay, now that is from Christina's inner thigh, and this was taken immediately after the alleged rape. And what that shows is an abrasion, and it's compatible with a tear in her uniform on her inner thigh, where somebody was took down their pants and their belt buckle ran down her thigh, inner thigh, and created that abrasion, which is again evidence that there was in fact rape. Now, one thing that is really interesting here that we have is when the diagnosis was made, when she was taken in to be reviewed concerning this rape, they coded what they found. And if you're a medical coder, you will understand this. It says ICD Echo 960.1. Well, that is indicative of assault by other bodily force. And it's a standard medical coding for what happened, and that was what their diagnosis was. Now, the medical doctor that initially examined Christina was then a Major Buller, Major Dr. Buller, and he has really moved up in the world. What was his position now, Christina? He is commander of the U.S. Army Institute of Surgical Research. In other words, he's up in the stratosphere. He was the one, he's a highly critical senior officer in the United States Army, and he took the photographs, he wrote up the assessment, and confirmed that it looked like it was a rape. The physical evidence was there. Christina was distraught and exhibited the classic symptoms of somebody that had just been raped. Now, the agent that investigated this crime and turned it into a case of lying to an agent appears to have actually perjured himself on a document. This is an agent's investigation report, and it was received through the Freedom of Information Act, and it discusses his finding concerning Dr. Buller and what he had reported. And what it says at the very first, it says on 7 January 2004, the investigator met with Dr. Buller and went through his report. Well, Christina called Dr. Buller, who's now a general, I believe. A general pretty much has to be a General Buller by now, and asked him if the investigating officer's statements that basically said that nothing was nothing in the medical report indicated rape was false. Dr. Buller said that he had never talked to the investigating agent and that anything on the document that minimizes or mitigates the medical report is false, that it was made up by the special agent. Now, you're wondering, what are the motives for this? Why did this happen in this sequence? And you have to look at who stands to gain if a rape becomes a non-rape. And when you're talking about something like this, you have to realize that Captain Joni Ernst's unit left approximately 50 days from the rape. They went back to Iowa. Well, now we've got a situation here where somebody had to benefit from turning Private Thunderthill's allegation of a gang rape into an allegation that it was really consensual sex and that Thunderthill lied about her own rape. Why would somebody do that? Who had an interest? The commander of the unit that was slated to go back to the United States in 2 weeks' time, almost less than 2 weeks, had an interest. Because if it was a rape and there was a court-martial, she and critical members of her own unit would have had to stay in country for the course of the court-martial. The investigating agent may have had an interest. That investigating agent would likewise have had to stay in country if it were a rape and would not, in the circumstance where you'd lied, because that went back, that incident then went back to Europe. And so that investigating officer had, or that investigating agent had an interest, or he could have been told that he needed to clean this up so the unit could get out of country. We don't really know that, but we know that those were two people that had a strong interest in seeing this rape case flipped. And the amazing thing about this whole thing is that Dr. Buller says that the CID never saw or never talked to him about the health records, the inspection. And the interesting thing is there were 4 witnesses that in the rape area, or there were 4 statements. There were two action people, and there are some conflicting comments in each one. But the way it's set up, it shows that they were collaborative. I think the operating term is there's a couple phrases in each statement that are very similar. And so we have reason to believe that this was a frame-up on Christina Thunderthill, and we'll let that charge stand in public. This is Bob Kraus, president of the Veterans National Recovery Center, and I'm with Christina Thunderthill, who is a veteran and who has been working with me to try to get to the bottom of major injustice that's happened to her. Goodbye.